I'm an introvert.
I'm an extrovert.
Hannah Bini is about to talk about how society perceives these two sides of us.
In her talk, A Tale of Two Temperaments.
Thank you.
I'm an introvert. I'm quiet and I'm shy, and I'm seen as very different than an extrovert. Western culture tends to put a distinct value on an extroverted personality, while Eastern culture values an introverted personality. But these cultural ideals force people to conform to a societal construct that is neither attainable nor fair to the temperament that is not valued in that society. But what are introverts or extroverts? In the 1920s, a psychologist named Carl Jung published a book called Psychological Types. And in this, he popularized the terms introverts and extroverts. Dr. Lee Archie's published some of his findings online, and he said that introverts are characterized by an inward flowing of personal energy. They prefer reflection over activity, and recharge by being alone. According to Dan Buettner from Psychology Today, they make up anywhere from 16 to 50% of the population. Many people think of introverts as being shy, when in fact shyness is a social anxiety. Introverts can be shy, but so can extroverts. Extroverts are characterized by an outward flowing of personal energy. They recharge by being in groups and are focused on the outside world. They make up anywhere from 50 to 74% of the population. Both introverts and extroverts see each other in negative lights. Introverts see extroverts as obnoxious, while extroverts see introverts as dull. But there is no one true introvert or one true extrovert. It's a spectrum. And in the middle are ambiverts, which are neither introverted nor extroverted, but a mix of the two temperaments. I want to briefly talk about why people are introverted or extroverted. Susan Cain writes about a scientist named Jerome Kagan, who did a study where he took a group of 4-month-olds and exposed them to new stimuli, such as an alcohol swab under their nose, a balloon popping, new voices, things like that. 20% of the infants cried and were upset at the stimuli. He called these high reactives. 40% had a mix of, didn't react, and he classified these as low reactive. The other 40% had a mix of the two reactions. He brought their children back periodically and found out that the high reactive children were more likely to become introverts, while the low reactive children were more likely to become extroverts. This was not always the case. Now I know what you're thinking. Why were the high reactive children more likely to become introverts? They seem pretty focused on the outside world. Well, what Kagan connects this to is the amygdala, which is often called our emotional brain. It controls basic instincts like fear and hunger. We have this in common with primitive animals like mice and rats. What Kagan said was that the children who were high reactive had a more sensitive amygdala, and therefore were more sensitive or fearful of the outside world, while low reactive children didn't have as sensitive amygdala. Many people think of introverts as misanthropes, but this study directly disproves that because it shows that introverts don't hate people, they're simply more fearful and sensitive to the world. Our Western culture thinks of those who are outgoing as being well-adjusted. We think of those who talk slowly as being less educated, while those who talk very quickly as being very smart and confident, when in fact talking slowly can be a trait of introverts and talking quickly can be a trait of extroverts. We often see the quiet kids in school grow up and we think they go through a metamorphosis. They're suddenly well-adjusted. But really, they get to pick their own environments. I know I'm looking at a small college because that's where I'm going to feel the most comfortable. But someone may very well feel more comfortable at a large school. It just depends. I often equate our extroverted ideal to our capitalistic ideal. That we're always trying to get further in society and make ourselves better. And to do so, you have to be loud, you have to be big, and you have to be heard. Now, introverts, it's often hard for them to be as loud. But not all Western countries are extroverted. Finland, for example, is a very introverted nation. There's actually a Finnish joke that goes, "How can you tell if a Finn likes you? He's staring at your shoes instead of his." Eastern culture values those who think. There's a proverb by the philosopher Lao Tzu that goes, "Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know." And what this means is that those who savor their words and don't say much really know what they're talking about. while those who blather on endlessly don't have much to say. I think we can equate this introverted ideal to the Eastern ideal of the teen. That people don't feel the need to be as loud because they accept where they are in society. There are also words in Mandarin which are used to praise quiet children. Why, for example, is one such word, and it means good or well behaved. There was a study done by Yuri Alec and Robert McCrae which showed that the children of Asian immigrants in Canada were more likely to be introverted than the children of European descent in Canada. This is a map drawn by Robert McCrae. The light pink shows very few extroverts, while the dark pink shows a lot of extroverts. And what we can see is there's a sharp divide down the map, with Europe having a lot of extroverts, and Asia and Africa having very few. Our ideals can also be shown in our education systems. Western education focuses on group learning and participation, and introverts are often told just to speak up. There is one school, though, in California, the Monte Vista High School, which has a large population of the children of Asian immigrants. And this school, the kids are often quieter. I think this shows a perfect melding of Eastern and Western culture. It's on Western soil, but it has this Eastern ideal. Eastern education focuses on quiet learning. Susan Cain in her book Quiet writes about an extroverted woman from Asia who came to America for college and was shocked to find out how much stock we put in participation. She didn't feel comfortable participating, even though she was an extrovert. Now, these cultural ideals are negative. They make people act in a way that they really can't. In the West, introverts are told to speak up, or they're forgotten. And in the East, extroverts are told to quiet down. But like I said before, personality is a spectrum. What makes culture and society beautiful is all the different kinds of people and personalities we have. But when we force people to act in a way that they're not, we're defining people by their temperaments. Yes, I am an introvert, but I am so much more than that. Thank you.